Okay, this is chapter 7 of the Gospel of St. Mark, the Douay-Rheims Catholic Version, translation, I should say. Christ rebukes the Pharisees. He heals the daughter of the woman of Canaan, and the man that was deaf and dumb. And there assembled together unto him the Pharisees and some of the scribes, coming from Jerusalem. And when they had seen some of his disciples eat bread with common, that is, with unwashed hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all the Judeans eat not without often washing their hands, holding the tradition of the ancients. And when they come from the market, unless they be washed, they eat not. And many other things there are that have been delivered to them to observe: the washings of cups, and of pots, and of the brazen vessels, and of beds. And the Pharisees and scribes asked him, Why do not thy disciples walk according to the tradition of the ancients, but they eat bread with common hands? But he answering said to them, Well did Isaiah prophesy of you, hypocrites, as it is written, This people honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. And in vain do they worship me, teaching doctrines and precepts of men. For leaving the commandment of God, you hold the tradition of men, and washings of pots and of cups, and many other things you do like to these. And he said to them, Well do you make void the commandment of God, that you may keep your own tradition. For Moses said, Honor thy father and thy mother, and he that shall curse father or mother, dying, let him die. But you say, if a man shall say to his father or mother, Corban, which is a gift, means a gift, whatsoever is from me shall profit thee. And further you suffer him not to do anything for his father or mother, making void the word of God by your own tradition, which you have given forth, and many other such like things you do. And calling again the multitude unto him, he said to them, Hear ye me all, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entering into him can defile him, but the things which come from a man, those are they that defile a man. If any man have ears to hear, let him hear. And when he was come into the house from the multitude, his disciples asked him the parable. And he said to them, So are you also without knowledge? Understand you not that everything from without, entering into a man, cannot defile him, because it entereth not into his heart, but goeth into the belly, and goeth out into the privy, purging all meats. But he said that the things which come out from a man, they defile a man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, murders, thefts, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile a man. And rising from thence, he went into the coasts of Tyre and Sidon, and entering into a house, he would that no man should know it, and he could not be hid. For a woman, as soon as she heard of him, whose daughter had an unclean spirit, came in and fell down at his feet. For the man was a Gentile, a Syrophoenician born, and she besought him that he would cast forth the devil out of her daughter, who said to her, Suffer first the children to be filled, for it is not good to take the bread of the children and cast it to the dogs. But she asked and said to him, Yea, Lord, for the whelps also eat under the table of the crumbs of the children. And he said to her, For this saying, Go thy way, the devil is gone out of thy daughter. And when she came into her house, she found the girl lying upon the bed, and that the devil was gone out. And again, going out of the coasts of Tyre, he came by Sidon to the Sea of Galilee, through the midst of the coasts of Decapolis. And they bring to him one deaf and dumb, and they besought him that he would lay his hand upon him. And taking him from the multitude apart, he put his fingers into his ears, and spitting he touched his tongue. And looking up to heaven, he groaned and said to him, Ephphatha, which is, be thou opened. And immediately his ears were opened, and the string of his tongue was loosed, and he spoke right. And he charged them that they should tell no man. But the more he charged them, so much the more a great deal did they publish it. And so much the more did they wonder, saying, He hath done all these things well. He hath made both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak. Okay, that's the end. Very interesting chapter. Well, the whole gospel is interesting, but I just want to say a few things for whatever it's worth. Jesus rebukes the Pharisees, right? They call him out on his disciples, okay, eating with unclean hands, right? And these are people that, obey the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law, meaning its true meaning. Right? The spirit of the law is its true meaning. So he tells them, what makes you dirty? What makes you defiled? What makes you contaminated? It's what comes out of your heart. There's no food that you could eat that is going to make you polluted. You understand? There's nothing you could eat. There's nothing that's going to go into your body that's going to make you defiled. But what comes out? And what's coming out? Well, blasphemy, curses, committing adultery. He mentions all these things, Jesus, right? He says adultery, fornications. Fornications is going with prostitutes. That's what that is. And incest. Murders, thefts, covetousness, meaning, never having enough, stealing from others, wickedness, right? He's causing trouble amongst other people, fights, deceit, right? Lying, lasciviousness, which is like lust, an evil eye, right? Wishing evil to others, almost cursing them with your eyes. Blasphemy, right? Using the name of the Lord in vain. Being proud, that you're better than others, and being stupid and foolish and ridiculous, probably in drunkenness he's referring to. He says these are the things that make us contaminated. It's what comes out of your heart, the evil that you that lives in your heart. Okay, that's what makes you defiled. Then he says, this woman comes to him to be healed, and she's not a Judean. Jesus was a Judean, okay, and she was a Gentile, and Gentile just means of the nations, right? Not a Judean. And Christ says, I came to start here with the Judeans and not really the other nations, because I'm preaching to the Judeans first, right? And, well, she says, he compares her to like, what does he say? Suffer first the children to be filled, for it is not good to take the bread of the children and cast it to the dogs. So he's saying, these are the children of the original revelation of God, right? Into humanity, that there's only one God. And don't give this, I come here first, and I'm not going to give it to other people. But then she says to him, she said to him, yes, Lord, for the whelps also eat under the table. Meaning the dogs also eat under the table the crumbs of the children. Meaning, the belief in one God can trickle down to other cultures. And of course it did, because the Greeks were the first. The Judeans, of course, some Judeans converted, but the first were the Greeks. The Greeks were the first to convert. So he helps the woman, which is wonderful. And then he heals a man who is deaf and dumb. And when they say dumb, they don't mean stupid. They just mean he can't speak. That's what it means. Okay, I think that's it. And of course, they're marveling at the fact that he can heal. And he didn't want people to really know, he didn't want to gather too much attention, but it still happened, right? He became more and more popular. Okay, I hope you like that. And by the way, Jesus spoke Aramaic. That's the language he spoke. He knew other languages too, of course, but he spoke. I'm sure he knew Greek. I'm sure he knew ancient Hebrew, but he really his native tongue was Aramaic. Okay, have a nice day. Bye bye.